The difference between a rut and a grave are the dimensions. So why is it that dentists and dental professionals, when they get stressed, they just keep digging? I'm Jen Butler, and thank you so much for watching this video. And these are the 3 types of stress you need to know. The first type of stress is called situational stress, and it's 90% of the kind of stress you experience on a daily basis. It's those types of things that start and stop, beginning and end. It's those things that on a daily basis trigger your stress response. So the difficult patient, the bill that shows up in the mail, your kids' potty training, the car breaking down, someone cutting you off on your way to work. These types of stress triggers are called situational stress triggers. And it's vital you know the kind of stress you're under, because you can't change what you don't acknowledge. Just like a patient coming to sit in your chair, they can't start doing something about their periodontal disease until you, as the doctor or the healthcare team, evaluate them, assess them, educate them. So the first kind of stress you need to know about is situational stress. I invite you right now to pause this video and actually write down all those things that happen during your day that are situational stress triggers, such as an argument with your spouse. Even relationships can be stress triggers because you can avoid them or improve them. You can do something about them. The second type of stress that you need to know about is psychological stress. And most people don't even recognize that psychological stress exists because it occurs solely in our mind. There's a theory called the theory of self-deception, where we cannot see outside of ourselves. So we really can't even hear or see ourselves putting ourselves under this kind of stress. But psychological stress takes solely in the mind. It's 100% self-induced. And it makes us think that we are ill-equipped to handle a situation before us or an event. Like me right now, talking to this video. My psychological stressor could be, oh, I'm not going to do a good job. Am I going to stutter? Am I going to say How am I going to look on camera? Those kinds of things, the self-talk that we say, actually triggers our stress response. It's like you in the office. Oh, this is my first crown. That crown looked awful. Look at those margins, those open margins. Oh, this kind of patient. I have a hard time talking to this kind of patient. Oh, this patient really makes me anxious. Or staff members, when they want to have a difficult conversation about getting a raise or PTO. Maybe conflict resolution is not within your comfort zone. So you have self-deprecating language or things that you're telling yourself that actually make the situation worse. Phobias, your fears, these are psychological stressors. And they happen in our unconscious mind because we talk and think so quickly, we don't even hear the things that we're telling ourselves. And the last type of stress that you need to know is physiological stress. And this is the hardest one to overcome sometimes, because a lot of the things that we use as coping methods to reduce our situational stress are actually maladaptive coping methods that continue our stress response. Let me give you a good example. Let's say you've had a very packed day full of situational stressors. Multiple clients that drive you crazy, staff that didn't show up, a crown that didn't fit, a lab case that didn't show up, bad traffic jam, you're late to work, you're late to soccer practice. All of these situational stressors piling up. You've totally reached your stress threshold. And then you go home and you drink wine and maybe you smoke and you sit on the couch for the next several hours. Well, what you've done is you've actually just transferred one kind of stress to the other, because our stress response is physiological. It is part of our endocrine system and our autonomic nervous system that is actually controlled by the same system that controls our heart, our kidneys, our lungs. So we can't turn it off. We can't control it. So when you replace physiological stress for situational or psychological stress, you're still stressing yourself out. And this is why you need to know the kind of stress you're under, so that you don't substitute one for the other, and so that you can choose the right coping methods for the type of stress you have.